Okay, I just completed my first class of the retirement session. The next class is going to be on a Thursday. An eye opener. Each time I go to one of these things, I learn something new. And so I'll be able to discuss all of that once I put all the pieces together and I can share some of the information that I learned. I definitely would recommend that you sit with a financial advisor, or I'm sure in your area they do offer some of these free classes or seminars. A lot of times you might get something in the mail inviting you to a dinner, and that might work as well. Just to get the information, go for the free stuff, right? Get the information, and then you decide on the financial advisor that you want to settle down with to manage you through your retirement plan. So, if you ever get an invitation for dinner, a movie, an informational session, or even a full class that talks about retirement, I would suggest you take it. Typically, these events are held by a financial advisor or a financial institution, and they sponsor these events. Usually, they're free, and it's a way for you to walk away with valuable information. Now, they say there's no obligation, but always read the fine print just in case. They're really just there to spark your interest about retirement, to share some information, and then in hopes that you would sign up for their services. This is what I've had the opportunity to do. I've had 3 invitations, and out of those 3 invitations, I would like to share with you my experience. Well, hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Just Lovely Living. My name is Tanya, and on this channel, I am sharing my journey towards early retirement. And I hope that I can inspire you and other women over the age of 50 to do the same, to leave your 9 to 5 so that you can do some intentional travel, some slow travel to be exact. Now, with some strategic plans, some practical tools, and a community like we are building right here on this channel. Now, yes, we are small, but we must start somewhere, and we can gather together and help each other on our journey towards early retirement so we can live life on our own terms. So I want to share with you in this video my 3 different experiences that I've had with these financial institutions and what were the results, and also give you some tips of how to potentially figure out if you really need a financial advisor. How helpful will it be for you to have one? I would like to welcome all of my new subscribers. Thank you for being here. Now, if you're new, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel. If you're someone that's interested in early retirement, go ahead and subscribe and like the video as well. And feel free to share it with any friends that may be in the process of retirement. To all of my current subscribers, thank you for pressing the play button every time I post a video. I'm so glad that you keep doing that and joining me when I post a video. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and go ahead and share the video. Now, I got these invitations 3 different ways. Well, really 2 different ways. The first 2 ways I saw events on Instagram. And, you could be a little leery about some of the information that's on Instagram, but the first one was an advertisement for an event at my community center. And at first glance, it looks like it's the actual community center that's hosting the event. But once I signed up and I got there, then I realized it was hosted by a financial institution. The session was about an hour and a half. We got a folder that included some worksheets and information of the PowerPoint presentation that the advisor was sharing with us. And the big takeaway from this particular one that was a real eye-opener is taxes. When you withdraw your money, how are you going to be taxed? Were you taxed on the front end when they were taking out the money, or when you were putting the money into the investment, whether it's your 403, 403B is what I'm currently investing in, or your 401k, which I've had 401ks with other companies that I've since rolled over into our IRA. So it was very interesting to think about taxes when it comes to pulling out your money when it's time for retirement. Now, there is a difference between, now, I am not a financial advisor by all means. I'm really just sharing with you the information that was shared with me. It's always a good idea for you to go out there and do your own research to get the information for what you need. But this advisor was giving us the difference between an IRA and a Roth. The IRA, you are not taxed up front, but when you start to withdraw that money, you're going to be taxed at that time. The Roth, you are taxed when you put your money in the beginning. So you're going to get the current tax rate. Now, the thing about the IRA, when you get taxed 20, 30 years from now, the tax rate is going to be a lot higher. So you're going to end up having less money than what you put in there because of the tax rate. But now you can always roll your money over into a Roth, but definitely seek some advice on how to do that. The second I found on Instagram as well. Now, they were advertising about a retirement movie, and it was called The Psychology of Retirement. And I'm going to put the link in the description of the trailer. They don't have the full movie posted on YouTube, but they definitely have the trailer. And I thought it would be interesting to go to this because it was different. It was a movie. They rented out the whole movie theater. We got free popcorn and a drink. And it was really just about the psychology of retirement, because I understand that retirement is just not based on money. It is about the psychology and how you feel and how you think about retirement. And people handle it in different ways. And it does seem like no matter how much you plan for retirement, real life kicks in for you to experience on your own, good, bad, or indifferent. So I went to the movie theater, and of course, a financial advisor is hosting it. So, you're always going to fill out an informational worksheet, and you have the option to say if you want them to contact you or not. So typically they'll give you that option. But I really just wanted to get some of the information. So they had some booklets out on their table as I was leaving. I was able to get some of that just to learn a little bit more about retirement. It never hurts to get the information, keep it in your back pocket, and then you'll be able to use it when you need it. Now, the third way that I got invited to an event, I got a mailer, and it was an invite for a 2-day class at the Kennesaw University here in Georgia. So I thought that was interesting because I felt like I would get more detailed information by going to a 2-day class. And actually it was just an evening class for 2 hours each night. It was on a Tuesday night and Thursday night. And they definitely went into a whole lot more detail about retirement. Talking about Social Security. When do you withdraw your Social Security? You can start at 62, 65, or 67. And each time there's a different amount that you're going to get. The earlier you withdraw, you may be losing out on the bigger pot of money at 67. So it is something you definitely want to consider before tapping into your Social Security. And I also learned if you wait until you're 67 and if you decide to go back to work, you get to make as much money as you can and still withdraw your full benefits of Social Security. So during each one of these events, I did learn something new with each one of them, being the tax for the first one, the second one, just learning about the psychology of retirement and what people go through when they start thinking about retirement as they're in retirement, and how they feel about money along the way. And then the third way, we learned about Social Security, a whole lot more, but that was just one of the key points that I pulled out from the 2-day class of when to withdraw your Social Security. Also in the third class, he talked about fees. When you have dormant accounts that are just sitting there, which I do have some accounts that I've transferred from other companies into financial brokers like Fidelity. T Rowe, I think, is another one that I have an account. And you always want to be careful of the fees that are coming out. And that kind of scared me. Like, I just have this money sitting, and if they're taking out fees, I need to know. And the one thing that I really was concerned about was my life insurance and a annuity that I have. Because looking at those, I can see there is a fee attached. I pay for my life insurance every month, and then my annuity is just sitting there. I'm not adding into it. What kind of fees are coming out? So you know what I did? I scheduled a free consultation with the last financial advisor. It's absolutely free. There is no obligation. Why not? Let's give it a try. So I'm going to insert some video as I show you as I go to this financial advisor to get some advice about my annuity. Got it from building 1100. This is building 1200. And let's see. Yep. This is building 1100 here. All right, here we go. Alright, I had to go through the building, outside to the left. Let's see, Strategic Wealth, I think this is it. Seeing someone. A little conference room. Alright. All right, that seemed pretty harmless. I'm always a little nervous when it comes to dealing with the finances and stuff, but I'm not in the worst position. Can contribute more to some retirement funds, but what I have in place is not that bad. So he's gonna analyze some of my paperwork and let me know what changes, if I need to make any. We will see. So I'll continue with the process with you. Now, as he was viewing some of my paperwork, he actually felt like it was a good policy that I had. And he also made a statement of how I could make my life insurance whole. I do have whole life insurance. And based upon the amount that I've already put into it, you can purchase another policy where you're not making any premiums, and therefore your life insurance would be made whole. I thought that was interesting. But what he did, he took copies of my paperwork, and he's going to have someone that specializes in life insurance to look over it to see if I have a good deal already. Keep continuing what you're doing, or they'll give me a suggestion of other products that I can switch over to for the life insurance. And then the financial advisor is going to look at my annuity. Now, he's had my information for about a week, and he said he would reach out to me to give me those results. Great. Absolutely free, because the first consultation is free. Now, do you feel like you need a financial advisor? What do you think? I have 7 tips to give you to see if you actually need a financial advisor. Number 1 is, do you know your numbers? Do you know how much it's going to take for you to retire and to live off on? Do you know your pension, what you're going to get from your pension, and that monthly dollar amount? Do you have investments? What are you going to receive from those investments? Is that going to be enough money for you to live off on? And is that something that you can look into yourself? You should know your numbers better than anybody else. You know if you have a pension. You know potentially when you might withdraw your Social Security. Have you ordered your Social Security report? Do you know that number that you potentially will get at 62, 65, or 67? I don't really think you need a financial advisor if you know your numbers. Number two, how complex is your financial situation? You know that better than anybody else. Do you have a large investment? Do you have a lot of assets that needs to be combined? Do you potentially have an inheritance that may be coming your way, or maybe you have already received? What about real estate? The more things that you have to kind of consolidate and figure out what to do with that, you may need a financial advisor to assist you on those things. It just really depends on how large of assets that you actually have to determine whether or not you need a financial advisor. Number three, are you confident in making financial decisions? Do you feel like you can make those decisions on your own? Whether it's a tax strategy, and that potentially could be something that you can ask your accountant about, some tax strategies as it relates to some of the investments that you have, your IRA, your Roth, which one should you get? I do know that some corporations are offering their employees a Roth where they will actually match it. And I believe just recently our company has decided to do that, which I do need to read a little bit more about it to make sure that they will match what I put into that Roth. Also, what I learned from the 2-day class is that in order to take advantage of a Roth, you have to start that, like, I believe it's like 3 years in advance in order to take benefits from the Roth. Like I said, I want you to do your research on a Roth, but he definitely said start a Roth now, so when you start adding more and bigger money into a Roth, you'll be able to use that account. Number four, are you trying to retire soon or even early? Whether it's 5 or 10 years or within the next 2 years, like myself, I am trying to retire early within the next 2 years. Figuring out your withdrawal strategy. Do you feel like you'll be able to do that on your own, or would you need some assistance? And all of this is just to ask yourself some of these questions to figure out whether or not you can do these things on your own, or are you going to need some assistance? And you may find yourself going to one of these events, and most of them offer free consultation to get that burning question and you need answered about your finances. That's another way to take care of that situation. Number five, I don't know if I mentioned, is a tax strategy. Whether or not you're going to use your Roth to be pre-tax, it's going to be taxed now, and so when you take it out, it won't be taxed. Or are you going to invest in an IRA where you are taxed now, where you're not taxed now, but when you take it out, you will be taxed. And number six, do you want guidance or just information? And I think that's what I'm doing now. I'm going to these different events to get information. They're pretty much saying the same thing at each event. And I do feel like some of them are offering a little more information than the others. Taking notes, compile that information, and use it for my benefit. So do you have a DIY mindset? Do you feel like you can do it yourself? Manage your own money, right? You can set up your own brokerage account. Put your money in there. You can put an IRA into a broker's account. My Fidelity account has an IRA, And then I also have an account to do some investments as well. So some of these institutions have different services that you can use to help you plan for your early retirement. Number 7, are you willing to pay for advice? And it might just be worth it. If you can sit down an hour or two with someone and pay for that hour to give you all the advice that you need and the suggestions, map it out for you and give you a plan that you can execute, why not pay for the services, right? If you feel like it's going to be more complicated, you don't know where to start, a financial advisor may be helpful to get you started, right? Now, I always believe in checklists, and I have a checklist that's available that helps you go through the process to see everything that you need, whether it's for your finances, your well-being. Create your own checklist, right? That is something that I've learned from my mom. She would always write things down that she wanted to do in the future, and she would check them off her list. She would always have these little postcards with notes, right? And sometimes we just need to write it down. If we can write it down and see the things that we need to accomplish so that we can retire early, that is a game changer just by writing it down. And I do feel like doing it yourself allows you the ability to know where your money is going versus someone else doing it for you. But when it gets complicated, you just might need to hire a financial advisor. So just to summarize what we talked about, so you might benefit from a financial advisor if you are unsure of your next steps. You're close to retirement and want to avoid any mistakes. You want a clear, personalized path. Use a financial advisor. You feel overwhelmed trying to figure it out alone. You may need a financial advisor. Or you just may need a little bit of guidance to do it on your own, like the checklist that I offer to help you check off some of the things that you should be doing towards your retirement. You might not need one if your finances are simple. If you enjoy learning and managing your own money, you already have a clear path and you are disciplined. So it's a hybrid approach. Yes, you may need to go see a financial advisor for some of the difficult things. It may be worth for you spending an hour consultation or 2 hours to sit with someone, or go to some of these events. When you go to these events, they always offer a free, well, not always, but most of the time they offer a free consultation as well. So I thank you all for joining me on this episode of Just Lovely Living. If you made it this far, I would love for you to subscribe to the channel and like. That really helps get this information out to other people who are thinking about early retirement and doing some slow traveling as well. I am so excited. I can't wait to put together my next video because I'm actually going on my first solo international trip to a warm southern place. So join me on my next video as I share with you my first international solo trip will be. Have a lovely day.